Hello, this is my 2015 Christmas Ornament Challenge entry that is hosted by Jacobson in Allen, Stratton. Let's go. So what I have here is 2 pieces of mahogany glued up with 1 more piece of maple on it. And then over here I have 1 piece of mahogany and 1 piece of maple glued up. And on this piece I'm going to draw a star and then cut it out on my scroll saw so I can then glue these together and turn it between centers on the lathe. Okay, I didn't have the right blade to scroll saw out the star, so I'm just going to drill a hole in the center of this with a Forstner bit so I could then just turn a Christmas tree on the lathe and put it inside instead of having a star in the middle. Okay, I've now drilled the hole in the center, so I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together and then I will be ready to turn on the lathe. Okay, so now I have a piece of spalted maple mounted on my lathe and I'm going to start to turn the Okay, I just rounded out the blank and I'm going to try to make a basic shape from going skinny to big and then back down to skinny and then make a tenon for it to mount onto the... Okay, now I've gotten the basic shape of the bottom finial and I'm going to start to make a tenon right here and then sand it and put a finish on. Okay, now I'm going to make a Christmas tree on this part so it can slip up inside the ornament and then it will catch on a tenon on this part of the Christmas tree, which would be the bottom. Okay, now I have made a small little Christmas tree right here. So now I'm going to make a 1 5/8 inch tenon right here. Okay, now I have made a tenon that is 1 5/8 inches and I made a little lip on the bottom part of the finial so it will sit on the main part of the ornament nicely. Now I'm going to start to sand the whole ornament. Okay, now I have finished sanding and I'm going to put Shello wax, which is a friction polish, on, and then I will be all done after I part off the bottom finish. Okay, so now I have drilled out another hole right here and I've mounted it between centers and I'm going to now start to turn. I'm now going to drill a hole all the way through. Okay, now I'm going to start to hollow out the inside of this ornament so it is bigger than the 1 5/8 inside that I drilled with the Forstner bit. Okay, now I'm going to round off these edges and make this wall a little bit thinner by shaving some of this off. Okay, now I'm going to part this little ring off. this part of the ornament, I'm just going to apply a beeswax mineral oil mixture and just rub it on and then let it sit and wipe off the excess. I have now made a tenon on this end so it will fit nicely into the ornament. And now I'm going to start to turn the shape of the top finial. Well, as you just saw, I got a little carried away when I was turning this, so it parted off itself. So now I just mounted it into my chuck, and I'm just going to now turn this so it's not as rough. I have now finished sanding, and I'm going to apply Shallow Wax, which is a friction polish. And what I do is I just wipe it on, let it sit for a few seconds, and then buff it out. I have now glued on both finials, and I'm going to put fake snow on the bottom. The ornament is now complete. I have added the snow, an eye hook, and I've also drilled a hole in the back so that you can put a light from the Christmas tree inside so it will light up the inside of the ornament.